right.
Keeping it simple and fun. Thank you.
Okay, Casie, let's tell the people how we know each other. So she is actually American, and are you from New York? I don't know, where were you born?
I'm from upstate New York, so I've been living in New York City for almost 6 years now.
Wow.
Since we met in China.
I know. Okay, guys, so this is how Casie and I actually met in China.
A mutual friends.
I actually don't even remember. I was trying to think about it now. Was it Brian?
At Uncle Sam's, of course.
Yeah, of course. I remember. And he was like, hey, I think you're going to like them. And I was like, oh, yes. And then we partied.
Shortly after, he came over to my house for Christmas.
Christmas. That's like the best Christmas. Yeah.
Day. We all ate food and drank. That was the best.
It was so much fun. I remember I went to you for Christmas, and then I had like a Pakistan Christmas, and then we had a Wolfpack Christmas, like all in one day. It was like a very cultural.
Incredible.
It was great. Cheers. I have my. So how's
happy hour in quarantine?
Definitely. Actually, 24/7 is like happy hour.
There's never a bad time to have a drink right now.
Ever. So guys, I talk to Casie like all the time, probably like every other day.
Yeah.
About boys, quarantine, thing.
Well, girls,
shebang, yeah. So how are you finding quarantine? So you guys call it quarantine and we call it lockdown. So we're in lockdown, yeah. And we can't do anything.
I find lockdown to be scary as a term, but
well, yeah.
We now have some curfews going on now in New York, though. So we have to be at 8 p.m.
It has to be inside at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Okay, we had that. That was before. So we have levels. So now we're at lockdown level 3. I don't know. Do you guys do levels?
We've just begun. New York City is starting to reopen yesterday. We are in phase 1. So I don't know if our phases are the same.
It's probably like levels, yeah.
We are, people are allowed to eat outside now at restaurants.
Oh, wow. We're not. We can only Uber Eats. Like, I miss like chilling at a restaurant and just being like, come.
We are allowed to gather in groups of up to 10. So that's the newest thing.
Okay. I think with ours it's 50. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 50 groups. And they've just opened churches. Yeah. Wait, I was reading the door in Casey's background is giving me child's play vibes. Yes, guys, so she is a teacher.
Yeah. My class.
Love it.
It maybe looks like a scary child museum. I'll do anything to get my kids in class.
But it's your office. Love it.
Yeah, it's really, honestly, it was really hard to get used to working at home, but now I'm so used to it. When they make me go back, it's gonna be rough.
Tough. Oh my word. That's me. I went to work last week for like the whole week. It was a lot. Like it was like, I was tired. And I was like, why am I so tired?
Because now I literally, I wake up and I do all my work in the morning. Typically done by like 11.
Mm-hmm. And then you're like, chill. Wait, you're teaching online, right?
Yes.
I explain to the people what you do.
I actually teach 4-year-olds online, which is very
Are they American though, or are you teaching Chinese people?
Actually, they are a lot Russian and Uzbek. So
what did you say after that? Russian and?
The kids are from Uzbekistan.
Oh, okay.
So they speak Uzbek. I have some Russian children, and I have some mixed American children as well.
Yeah.
But the
so do they understand you though? Because I mean, like 4 years old. Oh my word. Are they probably like, nah, I have no idea what you're saying?
A lot of them are English language learners, so it's a lot. I was teaching in China, which is good. Similar experience.
That's good.
But it can be difficult when the kids don't understand you or they don't understand you. I'm sure you remember.
Because in China, we had assistants, right? So at least there was like an assistant teacher there. But now it's just all you. Or do you have assistants?
Yeah, well, my assistant does not speak Russian or Uzbek, so we're in the same boat.
Oh my word. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Pictures, stuff like that.
Sorry, I'm like trying to reply to some people. So I'm like not ignoring you guys. We are chatting, but I'm not ignoring you. Okay, cool. And then how long have you guys been in quarantine for?
It's almost 3 full months.
What?
We were put down March. Well, I go by how school was closed.
Okay. Yeah.
School was closed on March 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming up on the 3-month mark.
Yeah. Did it start off?
Actually, there are no COVID-related deaths in New York City today.
Oh, that's good.
So that's really
nice
to hear. And so we're again in phase 1. We're allowed to eat outside, and
yeah, it sounds like you guys have it pretty nice. Like you haven't. I think I saw. Was it New Zealand that has like no deaths and they're back on track? They're like in number 1 now, like stage 1 or whatever.
Right, because they probably had their social distancing down to pat.
Yeah, we just had, I don't know if they banned a lot of stuff for you guys, but they banned alcohol for us, and they just opened that like on Monday, I think I was telling you.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That is different by state, but New York had deemed that liquor, it was essential. So the liquor stores were open.
I know.
The entire time. Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy. Like on the first day, everyone went to go stock up. We were just like, you know what, just in case. We're not doing it.
We also have a lot of shops delivering.
Mm-hmm.
And they can just leave the stuff at the door, which is awesome. So you don't have to have person-to-person contact. You just order it, and they leave it on the doorstep.
I mean, they opened the same, like they opened the stores and online liquor sales at the same time. So it was like,
right. Well, a lot of businesses right now are figuring out how to sell different types of products
online.
On selling obviously to-go food, but sometimes just massive to-go drinks in these sippy cups, so that people can come get the alcohol. So people
That's amazing.
Yeah, we've been drinking. That has not stopped.
Oh my gosh, you guys are lucky. Like the other day, I went to go buy pizza, and I was like walking in, and they're like, no, stand there. And I was like, oh, okay. Like sometimes you forget. I don't know if you ever forget though. Like you have a moment where you forget. Sorry?
What would I forget? What?
Like forget that it's quarantine. Like you walk in and you're like, oh, I know. And then you're like, actually.
I run outside without my mask because I have a dog.
Same.
With my dog, like, ooh.
And you're like, actually.
So that's Charlie's actually with my mom right now.
So he's not there.
My dog. So he's with my mom for the afternoon.
Okay.
Yes, he's my child. 32 years old.
I know, he's a child. Wait, it's Charlie's the one that I've met, right?
He is about 10. He's a pug.
Yeah, he's the one I met. I know Charlie. Yeah. Remember when I came to your place in New York and we slept over and he was there, so cute.
Yeah,
you still have him.
He's a good one, yeah.
That's good. Okay. So what's the biggest lesson you think you've learned with COVID-19?
All right. So when the quarantine began, it was really hard for me specifically because I had gone from having all this social interaction at my job.
Yeah.
You take advantage of that. Just even the people that annoyed you.
Exactly.
You see them every day. And you're like, okay, wait a second. Oh, I missed that annoying assistant.
Exactly, yeah.
It was the loss of my routine. I realized how much I was just relying on that for comfort.
Exactly.
I have experimented a lot with trying to follow what my body wants to do as opposed to what I should do.
Yeah.
I try giving myself routines. So I'm trying all kinds of things to comfort myself.
Don't you feel like your routine has also... Huh? Sorry?
Now I love working from home, but at first...
Yeah, I know. At first it was like, what? It was a shock to the body. And then you have to try and make your own routine. You're like, okay, what am I doing? And then after that, you're like, okay, don't take this away from me, please.
Well, the school is not opening right now, and we don't know when school will open. So it's possible in September I will still be teaching from home.
Okay. So we just had the 7th grade. I don't know what you guys call it, but it's grade 7 here, and the matrics, which is grade 12. They're open. But it looks so sad. Like they're wearing masks, the social distancing, like everything. It just looks so sad.
It is.
So they're open. Yeah.
And we're going to have very small classes, maybe just like 6 or 7 classes. Kids might have to go like Monday or Tuesday, which is something that we haven't done before. But we're going to have the children separated. And actually, the 4-year-olds, they cannot wear masks. They will and fling the mask. They'll still bite each other. You know, we can't trust them. So we need the smallest group. So it may end up we will just continue teaching online because it's the most feasible option.
I actually think that's the future. Like everyone's going to teach online. Actually, okay. We have a question. I've been seeing question. What items, be it food, equipment, have you struggled to get delivered due to low stock levels? Oh, sorry, Louisa. Tongue's out.
Paper items. There was a while when we could not get the paper items. We could not have paper for the toilet paper. Let's see.
Yeah, because everyone stocked up on toilet paper. I don't know where the logic was for that, but everyone stocked with
hand sanitizer, and all of a sudden you're seeing this 12-ounce hand sanitizer being sold on Amazon for thousands of dollars. So there was a good month and a half where things like toilet paper and paper towels and hand sanitizer
were like sold out.
Possible to get and wildly expensive.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, I'm going to read another one. They're like, 4-year-olds is normal class is crazy. Can't imagine trying to get them to focus on an online class.
It's hard.
In normal class, my bad.
Really hard, but they test the teachers. And they get to see their friends actually on Google Meet. They can see all the little faces. So
so we can see like each other.
Yes, they can see me. We can talk to each other. I read them stories. We do. Today we made this.
Oh, that's so cute. And were they able to actually make that or not really?
So the way that I will teach my lesson and I will have a craft or lesson like that every day.
Yeah.
And I will post, I have a class WhatsApp group.
Okay.
So I the WhatsApp group and my children will post their products to the WhatsApp group. So that's
okay. So then you see the end result and you're like, okay, this is how it looks.
Sometimes.
That's cool.
They're not always doing it.
I can only imagine. That's what most teachers are complaining about. They're like, in South Africa, they're like, no, they're not getting the work. And some parents, I can understand from the parent side, they're like, you know what, there's so many other things to do and the mom has to teach and all of that stuff. I mean, work, sorry. And then someone said, what? We were not allowed to drink. Yeah, that's South Africa. I couldn't drink. Yeah, it's crazy. When are restaurants looking to reopen? Oh, she said they're open.
Right now, restaurants are opening to only outdoor seating. So I don't know when people are only allowed. So
nothing indoors.
Yeah, they're just allowed to go inside to use the bathroom, and they have to wear a mask. So that's how it's working out right now.
Okay, cool.
So the brave people are going to the restaurant. I'm not feeling very brave right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I'm going to let the other people test it out, and then I'm going to hit those streets. Terrible, but so I'm getting used to my little situation here.
Exactly. That's like you become so accustomed to kind of like being in your own space that when you see someone, you're like, get away from me. Like,
for a while, I'm my own mother inside of my apartment.
Yeah. It's like my
her boyfriend works in construction all over Brooklyn and stuff.
Oh my. So he's like out.
I wouldn't let her in here because he could have been tracking things all over their house.
Exactly. Like my cousin, she came home yesterday and we haven't seen each other for a while, and she was like, listen, you went to work last week, so don't give me a hug. And I was like, there was like 5 people, but like everyone's paranoid. It's like, don't touch me.
I actually have a question. Are you guys doing any weird gestures as opposed to hugging or shaking hands? Because
we do that. We actually had a whole meme where we were like
also knocking elbows, which is what I was doing with my mom. So embarrassing. funny.
I know. Like, it's the new thing. Because you get to the people like, hey, actually. Like, it ends there.
Yeah. I got used to it. I got used to it. Me and my mom are hugging now.
Sorry?
We're hugging now. Me and my mom are hugging.
Okay,
now.
that's good.
So
I've been hugging my parents.
Our levels, of social improving. This weekend I'm taking my first trip out of New York City. I'm going to go to see some friends. And something I'm experiencing, though, is that people are nervous to see me because I'm from New York.
Why, though? Is it because it's more hectic?
City was the epicenter.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, for a long time, it was, people just, the strictest regulations here. But now, no deaths today. Yeah. So with the social, we really turned it around. And now California is doing worse than us. Not really. But
I have like a friend in California, and she's going out to Palm Springs this weekend. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys can go out of city. We literally all stuck in like one city.
We're really, at this point, we're allowed to do some travel, but it's not advised for us to go from state to state.
Just like light travel. So where you're going is around.
Right. I'm staying in New York. I'm traveling with one person in a car, so it's like minimizing interaction.
That's good. Okay, and then we have another. Louisa, I like your questions. Can you read questions there?
Me? Yeah. How is stigmatization towards infected persons and Asian people? Okay. I haven't noticed particularly people being rude to Asian people, but it might just be because I'm very sheltered in my home. Yeah. According to the news in New York City, you have people saying shit. And you had we had an issue with people patronizing Chinese restaurants for a while. So that's something that we had to think about, like, please support your Chinese restaurant because these idiots are thinking.
I think also,
and that doesn't make sense to me.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think also. Wait, sorry, it's cutting, so I only hear you after. Like, I think you're done, and then. I was saying, I think also for you and I, China is a very like sentimental place for us, and when we hear people, say very stereotypical things to, Asia itself, it doesn't have to specifically be China. It's like we don't really like that. Like, I've heard so many people ordering sushi.
I have a love for China.
Yeah, same. It's like one of my favorite places. So then when people talk badly.
There, though, we also made some jokes about China.
Ooh, me and you.
The safety and the cleanliness. Let me try to take out my charger. Does it sound better now? Like,
it's fine. It's just
China, absolutely love China. I always thought they could use some more safety regulations.
No, definitely. And cleanliness. I think when people were like, oh, we have to wear masks, I was like, oh, when I was in China, that's something I kind of did quite often. Like, we always wear masks.
And now I'm looking back on it, like, these people know something we did not know.
Exactly.
What were they actually wearing masks for? What was in China?
Crazy. That's what I thought as well, because I have so many pictures where I'm wearing a mask, walking around, and it's like, this was normal in China, and now that we're outside of it, we're like, okay, whoa.
Yeah. Now seeing it everywhere, I've got a massive pack of masks. Like, this is a crazy thing that I never thought would become a daily part of my routine.
Yeah.
I had never had that made me on.
Same. Did you wear a mask in China, though?
No.
You didn't?
Nope.
I wore like all the time. Like every other... Because remember, I lived with Hannah, and she was always like, "Oh, you need to wear your mask as often as you can."
I remember there were a few days in China where they put out the air warnings, and on those days we either stayed inside, and I think I wore on that day when we got the
I actually never knew that there were air warnings. Like, I think I was always outside and just partying.
Did not cancel school, though. School was not canceled.
No, never.
No.
That's crazy. The other thing I thought of was like, I actually enjoyed Chinese street food at the time. And now I'm like, what was I eating? Did you ever buy street food when you were in China?
I did when I was traveling. Well, my favorite thing was the actual Bing wraps.
Yeah.
You remember?
Oh, yeah, Bing King.
Not like Bing King, because that was super
like,
Americanized.
Yeah.
Like the egg pancake and sometimes they would put meat into it. That was.
I don't think I've had that. Oh, I don't remember.
Like, you can I think in America we just call them onion pancakes. Thanks. So I missed that.
Okay. Alrighty. And then my last questions. Oh, yeah, this is about the protests. Are there any protests in your area still?
We have had protests every day for 2 weeks.
Every day?
So
wow.
Every 2 weeks we have in New York City. Yeah. But they're mostly following the stay-at-home order of going home at night. We had a few, really dangerous weekends when the protests first began. But since then, we have kind of harnessed the energy, and now it's very peaceful.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask, is it getting a bit more peaceful now that it's been 2 weeks?
Right. So we're now noticing really big get-togethers that are peaceful, like quiet marches, lots of positive signs. We're noticing celebrities getting involved.
Yeah, there's lots of celebrities. One of the biggest things we're asking ourselves is, with all those protests, how are they not catching corona? Because you just said you guys are corona free.
That's the thing. That's very
what we're like. We're like,
that I think we'll probably learn about
the whole world.
in the next couple.
Yeah.
I have seen lots of people with masks on, but something that I've heard is that, so sometimes there are confrontations between police and protesters, and tear gas might be that would make the person cough, inflame, and spread their germs around. So that's the concern that I have. If people's eyes are being exasperated and they are spewing unintentionally.
Right. Exactly.
But that's a byproduct.
And it's like, is it safe?
Yeah. But I don't want to say it's quieting down, but I am going to say it is mostly during the day now, and it's mostly non-violent.
Mostly non-violent. Okay, that's good. There's a question. What type of food do they eat there, as in the type of street food? I think they're referring to China. I actually don't even know what street food.
Street food.
It kind of looked like crickets. I don't know.
Well, it was a lot of fruit stands.
Fruit stands. But I enjoyed the meat.
It's almost like the roasted Mexican street corn. Do you remember that corn?
I don't think I've ever bought corn, but I know they sell a lot of veggies. That's where Hannah would buy veggies.
They would sell lots of that yellow fruit, durian.
Yeah. And some snacks, actually. They sold a lot of snacks as well.
Nuts, I believe they sold nuts and stuff like that. Squid on a stick. If you ever...
Yeah, squid. I remember squid on a stick.
You would find all kinds of interesting things on stick.
Exactly. Like almost everything. And it's like meaty. I mean, like when you're there, you don't really ask. You're just like, oh, what's that? You kind of see it and you're like, oh, it looks good. That's kind of how I was. And then I tried.
I tried to stick with people who could tell me what I was eating.
What it was.
But I did get brave a few times. I once ate some heart.
Some what?
I ate the tiniest piece of heart.
Oh, my word.
I believe it was a cow's heart. And listen, it was because I was on a date with this guy and it was his birthday. And he kind of really talked me into it. He said, heart, you have to eat this heart. It's good for your heart.
Was he Chinese? Or was he English?
That was the Chinese professor. Yeah.
Oh.
That was fun. But he turned out to be a little old for me in the end.
I was about to say this. I was like, wait, we never spoke about this. This is like
That was a quick one.
That was a quick one. I don't think I went out with
one good day, and then he emerged to be like an older man who just liked to stay in and listen to his stories.
Oh, yeah, that's dry. Then there's not much you could do with that.
I can't really connect to that.
Yeah, I think I only went out with one Chinese guy, and we couldn't talk to each other. Mm-hmm. So then we just we chat each other while we're in person. That after that, I was like, no, I can't. Like, you need to learn some English, 2%.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because learning Chinese is really hard.
No, definitely. All I know is left, right. I think you know way more Chinese than I do. I know
I used to, and once in a while I'll spit a Chinese word out, but it's probably wrong. I never could say a sentence.
No, same. The biggest thing would be "Nifong lama," and then I'm just you crazy.
Yeah. And when I came back here, my first teaching job actually here after China was in a partial Chinese.
I remember that. Yeah.
School. And they would just make fun of me. They're like, "You're not speaking correctly."
That's because us foreigners, one thing Hannah said was us foreigners actually stuck to foreigners. How is it? I was in China and most of my friends are from all over the world, but not...
All of the funny accents at the end.
Exactly. Well, and we didn't even know, But the biggest thing I learned was pinyin and characters, so at least I know that.
Okay.
I think that's what you need to know.
I tried that.
Yeah?
Yeah, do we have any more questions?
Yeah, Louisa said Trump has indicated that testing stations and testing kits would become available to all Americans who require testing. Have you found this to be accurate?
It is. I can speak for New York City that for about a month it has been free and easy for our essential workers to get tested. So first, that was for our transit employees and our, the people who do the trash, foods, workers, sanitation workers. So first it was expanded to the people who are keeping the city running. And now it's pretty easy for people to get a test.
So have you been tested or not?
No.
No,
I haven't. And the reason why I haven't is because I actually think I had coronavirus in January.
Really? What?
Yeah. So I think that if I had a test, it would show that I had antibodies, and I probably would just get routine tests at my next doctor's appointment because or coronavirus even was a thing. So I believe it went through my school. I had the aches and the confusion, and the biggest one was the loss of the constant mucus and the loss of the taste. So.
All the symptoms, right?
But at that point, we didn't know what it was. So I was like, it's not the flu, but it feels like the flu. And later I was like,
It's actually, come to think of it, I have a friend that works at the airport, and he was around January, around that time, and he was he feels weird. It's like a flu, but it's not really a flu. And it's spreading in between the airports. And I'm thinking back then, because we didn't know around January, and he was he said his stomach was running, weird things, and he's like, it's not normal.
Yeah,
for a few days.
It was messing with bowels. I don't want to get too gross, but there was
It's okay.
But if you had it, you know.
Yeah, if you had it, you know. Because, everything he described, I was like, what is that? And because we didn't know, and considering he was working at the airport, it makes sense.
And it lasted so long.
Yeah, that's what he said. It was it lasted maybe 7 days or something.
And one of my older friends, teacher friends, she was 60-something. She was sick for a month and a half. And thank God she lived. Can you imagine?
My word. No, it's crazy.
She had it first. Not to say that she infected me, but I'm glad she did.
I have to say so. It was just, no one knows.
It could have been anyone, but it probably was.
I have another question. How busy? I don't know if she's still there. Nadia, are you still there? Okay. How busy are the parks right now? Are people still dog walking and exercising, especially with the protesting?
Yeah, so the parks were overrun a month ago when the first warm weather began. And then the police had to come out and put up some new regulations. So you will see things like social distancing circles in the park.
Oh,
So people
okay.
have to come and set their blanket up in the circle. They will be 6 feet away from a different group. You see that in lots of apartments in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really trying to implement things to keep people apart.
Like apart, yeah. I think that's one of the saddest things. Like, imagine if you were younger and in school and just excited for life, and then all of a sudden there's all these stations, like you can't do this. It's just a sad time.
I do not understand this. They tell me that it gives me the saddest pleas, like, teacher, I want to go to school.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard anything like it before.
It's
and
sad.
it's my heart, because guess what? I also want to go to school. It's so confusing.
Mm-hmm. Because for us, though, the adults, like, it's kind of working up like a little bit better. Like, for me personally, I'm grateful that I get to be at home because I have like so many things I do. But I'm just saying, if I was younger, I would not be happy with everything going on.
Yeah. Especially, I really think when we look back on this, it's going to be obviously a huge pivotal moment in our lives.
Definitely. Yeah. It's going to be in history. Like,
about, like, how did you deal with it? What I really think one of the biggest issues during this pandemic is mental health.
Definitely.
Because certain people do not feel comfortable to reach out to other people when they feel isolated. So, and for me, I have no problem with that. I will call someone when I want to talk, when I feel alone. But I know there are others that might just close up, and that's a big concern for me. So we do have a lot of therapists who are donating their time to just like speak to people on the phone for free who need help. So that's great. People are helping people a lot.
Yeah, that's great. I also saw it on Facebook. Like, a lot of therapists are like really promoting and advertising and you know, all that stuff, because it can get so lonely. Like, I make sure I go home at least like every 3 weeks, you know, just be around people until I get sick of it, and I'm just like, bye. A couple of family.
I keep thinking about how when I finally go back to school, and I'm wondering about how I think only then I'm going to be able to reflect on what happened. Because right now, I think this is really traumatic. I think it's really traumatic that our routines have been thrown.
Exactly.
Because that's something in our lives that just helps us feel normal.
And it abruptly changed, like very abruptly, like all of a sudden. It's not like it was a phase out. It was like, no, quarantine, lockdown.
And the fact of the matter is, this is something that, well, we need to talk about whether or not we could have stopped it more. But,
exactly,
like a pandemic, well, it affected every country just differently, depending on the response. This was a cataclysmic.
I don't know.
just threw everything off. So I really think I'm still experiencing it. And later, when I really think about it and feel it, is when I'm going to be able to think how it's affected me in the long term and what I've learned. Since it's really still going on.
Definitely. I think that's how I am as well, just in life in general. Like, things always happen, and until it's done, that's when I'm like, okay, what just happened? And then you reflect, and you're like, okay, this is what happened, this is what we went through. I don't think a lot of us really, we all know that this is a pivotal time in, like, history. But until it's over, it's going to be like, sure, we actually survived that.
Right.
And the whole world.
And I almost think anxiety is taking hold now because of the uncertainty. And we don't know what's going to happen. We have an election coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk about that on another call.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't believe it's been almost 4 years.
That's
My God.
crazy. That means that I've left the US for 4 years. Because the last time I was there was when Trump got elected. It's been 4 years.
Time to leave.
I know. When I told everyone, I was like, the next day was like the coldest day in America. It was like, whew,
right.
Everyone was just down.
I heard someone say something really eloquent that stuck with me. Like the day after the day after that election, I was so upset. And it wasn't because we lost; it's because we knew what would happen.
Yeah,
we knew.
I think
it wasn't just a symbol. It was there was a shift.
Definitely. Because the next day I went, I always commend Americans. You guys have the best customer service. Like, I have to say, it's way better than South Africa.
That's really important.
It's like, I'm always like, wow, because like, they're like, hi man, how are you? I'm like, what? We just get next. And then we go on. But the next day after Trump was elected, oh my word, it was just like, hi, how are you? I was like, oh, it was so sad. It was so sad.
Everyone was defeated.
Yeah. But that's my question. How did he win if like most of Americans, I guess?
Well, it was a really sad combination of people like me. Well, I voted. I gritted my teeth and I voted for Hillary. But a lot of people like me in my situation, whatever demographic, they did not get to go out and vote.
Yeah. I remember because people didn't want to vote for Trump, but then they didn't want to vote for Hillary, so they just didn't go.
Were like, yes, we hate Hillary. We're just gonna vote for Trump because we'll try him.
Right.
And then other people are like, we're not voting at all. And some people voted for Hillary, and it just so happens that because of the Electoral College.
I remember,
because he did not get the popular vote. So that's another thing we're going to be talking about for years to come.
Right. I remember, though, the night before, I said, I don't want to say his name, but, my boyfriend at the time.
I know. We both know about the boyfriends at the time.
So I was like to him, I had like a... Oh, yeah, you're going to go get a drink. Okay, great. Oh, yeah. So I was like, at the time, to him, I have such a strong feeling that Trump is going to win. And we actually had a fight about that because he was like, no, why do you think? I'm like, I don't know why, but I have this feeling because the way people are, it was like, Hillary and being confused. People are just not going to vote.
I never thought it was possible. I never thought it was possible. And when it happened, I actually slapped my boyfriend awake. And I was like,
what?
Like a nightmare.
Yeah, because it was like very late. I remember I stayed up for it.
Yeah, it was like 3 a.m. And I had fallen asleep. And when I woke up, there was like there was like a candle of Trump's face that was just melting for hours. But in the thread, people were like, oh my God, he's going to win. Oh my God, he's going to win. And then it just like fell off.
And then it just went.
Just out of their minds. But here we go, girl. Now we have another candidate coming that people are not that excited about, Joe Biden. But the stakes are much higher right now. People need to, instead of thinking about what is their favorite person,
it's more like what's the better of the two.
We need to avoid. We need to avoid what's happening. So I will be voting for Biden, even though I don't like him.
Even though you don't want to. Yeah, that's what my boyfriend at the time voted for Hillary. Although, like, he schooled me on Hillary, and he was just like, this is why. Because I was like, first female president. I was like
a Hillary fan. I remember wait a second. Wasn't he? I feel like he was going to vote for the third party candidate.
I think so, yes.
He was to vote third party.
Actually, yeah, I think he was third party, actually. Oh, yeah, you guys have a third party, I forget. I know he was very liberal, though.
Yeah, that means that he's super liberal, yeah.
Yeah, he's very liberal, yeah. But I remember because for me, it was, I at the time, like before I dated him, I wasn't very political. Like, I didn't know much about politics and the importance of it. I would say that's the biggest thing I learned from him was that, listen, you need to think about why you're voting and, stuff like that. So for me, like, very ignorant. I was like, come on, she's like the first female, like, yes. And then he schooled me. I was like, oh, okay. Now I understand. That's when I said to him, Trump's going to win it. Like, sometimes people aren't ready.
Yeah, well, Hillary was just dry as fuck. I forget when she said he's gonna use his trumped up trickle down economics.
Yeah.
Some person my age was like,
what do you say?
That's not funny. That's weird.
In the debates, she said a couple of weird stuff. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Hillary.
Okay. Biden just said something really horrifying on a black radio station. He said, if black people are voting for Trump, then you ain't black, which is something that came out of his mouth. And can you believe that?
But no, like, what?
So it's like, I can't pray. So it's like, can we just have a decent... I'm really upset that Bernie bowed out because I really wanted to vote for Bernie.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were going to vote for Bernie Sanders.
Right. Well,
my thing is, you guys only have 3.
Split the vote again. Yeah, he didn't want to split the vote again. So I feel like he bowed out for the good of America.
Is this now as well? Like he didn't go. I haven't kept up with it. So he didn't want to try again.
Actually run. He could run as a third party. Would really shock.
Yeah. So I was going to say that you guys only have 3 parties. We have guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think maybe plus more than 15 parties that we get to vote for. So if you don't even want to vote for the top, we have the top 3, which is, ANC, DA, and EFF, different parties. But then if you don't want those, there's different ones, women's one and, Christian ones, and there's one called KISS. And so we have so many options.
Random ones. Yeah, the only thing that I have hope for is that Biden is maybe gonna choose a woman.
Oh,
to be
that would be great.
He's looking at Harris. He's looking at Stacey Abrams and some other influential people of color, Spanish, Black. So obviously, that's a selfish ploy to get people like me, but it'll work.
It will work, yeah.
It'll work. I'll support him and a woman. Yeah.
I think now that we see the elections now, most of us understand why Obama won at the time he did. And it's so unfortunate that there's always time limits for this thing. It's can he not just be the president forever? I mean,
right, that would have been good. It could have changed the law of that. It almost was like a rubber band effect that we had so much, that we were so happy, and the liberals, it was a very peaceful 8 years.
Exactly.
And those Republicans were they just wanted to...
Man, we're going to get you. Yeah.
So mad. So it's the middle of America was just mad. And so they were this loser.
Because I know, most of the time they were trying to fight everything that he tried to implement or, kind of put into place, and then they'll change it. Even Obamacare was very quickly taken out.
They were trying to take it out, but they couldn't, which is good. They tried.
Okay, so it's still there.
Attack, but one of the most historic moments ever was when John McCain was and shot it down.
Not gonna happen. Yeah.
That's American trivia. When John McCain sank the plan to get rid of Obamacare, but then he died. He's dead. Sorry.
Yeah, I did not know he was dead.
No, I'm drunk, so no, it's not funny. I'm just drunk.
No, it has to be light. I love it. So Louisa says, do you think he will be reelected? I think she means Trump. I hope not.
Well, I never thought he would be elected, so I really don't know.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is that he will be. That's my biggest... Well, my biggest fear was that he was elected the first time. But if he gets elected again, I actually think that this country is going to fall apart. You see already, the police systems are falling apart. Education systems are falling apart. I don't know how long we can keep this up. He has he has not filled a lot of important positions. So a lot of important positions are empty. And jobs are not getting done. So do I think...
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. What has he done, really, since, he's been in office? That's
he passed that tax bill that gave a bunch of money to the rich. That's it.
Yeah. I just think I don't want to say something because I don't really know my politics that much. But I feel if he would be reelected, I think in a couple of years, China is going to grow so much more powerful because
that's exactly right.
America won't be what it is now.
So powerful right now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an easy chess move on the world for China to just be.
Yeah, no, you're okay. You're absolutely. And that's something that's in the back of my mind because I'm thinking Well, we're thinking about social equality here and the political elements of Trump is openly against people who support lives. And he speaks about white people, protesters, kindly. He speaks about black protesters very differently, and that's something that's really creating a divide and
exactly.
violence.
Another thing is his initial reaction to COVID-19 as well was like,
right,
dude, you're like the leading country.
Right. Well, yeah, that was awful. And if we had acted earlier when we knew COVID was coming, we maybe the United States has 1/3 of the COVID-19 death.
So you guys like increased very drastically. It was first, I can't remember if it was Italy. I think it was Italy, and then the United States went poof. And I think it's mostly his reaction was just like, relax, kind of thing.
Exactly. Well, I think, I don't know what he thought, but he definitely doesn't think it would be this, because nothing like this has ever happened before.
Exactly. I mean, it's one thing for us to be like, oh, they can only deal with it in a certain way because they don't know, it's never been there. But that's why you have, the United Nations and whatnot, where they can all speak about it. And I don't think he was just like, no, it's my country. I want to do my own thing.
But hopefully not much longer.
When are the elections again? When are the elections again? Is it a while? November. Okay. Yeah, it's still a while. So
yeah, it's a little while. Seems like right around the corner because we're just gonna have a little quarantine summer and then it's here.
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
Sure. Can you tell me? Okay. What I would like to know, now that you're back at work, how are you handling it?
Oh, no, I was only back at work last week for like a week because it was our deadline. So now I'm back to working from home. Yeah. I'm very lucky, but a lot of people are actually going back to work. They went at level 3. But my company was like, no, we just need you during the deadline, the last month end, because that's our deadline. And then, yeah. But when I was there, I was like, no, I don't want to come back. I want to thank you. I want to go home.
Right. Well, I would love to talk to you again and see what's happening in like a month or something.
Definitely. Definitely. We'll catch up again, and then we'll see how it's going outside. Thanks so much for your time, Casie.
Right,
ciao.
Bye.
Bye. I don't know how to end this. Okay, wait. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. A lot of you, it did last a little longer. But thanks so much. So that was our first episode where we were speaking to Casie, who's in New York, kind of finding out how's it going in New York. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for tuning in. Please share the next flyer. On Sunday, I think, it's not confirmed, but we're going to do New York part 2. And then next week, Tuesday, we are in Philadelphia. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for the questions. Bye.